two of them now.
Yeah.
So, I guess one of those things we agreed, but. Yeah, I didn't have it this time. Again, I haven't slept. Melissa keeps me on, like, learning about public hearing reviews. And I've been told the council of leaders, engineering, there's two departments that aren't done. It's fine. So, I'm trying to get streets lined out with capital projects. We haven't looked that far ahead for a long time. Or you guys are pretty close with the budget, aren't you? Yeah, I mean, the word will approve it last meeting. Big work session. Nice. I feel pretty good about it. My councils used to be very hands-off. This, go through a bunch of stuff. So last year I created work session. So every first meeting of the month we do have a work session. So because of that, I was able just to roll our budget into the work session. So I can just come in, that's what I'm in council. Or no, we walk through it.
I basically grabbed the revised budget and next year's budget.
I don't understand. I mean, they have to.
This rolled up this year with making new projects. And I took all of that budget, just made it into land stuff. It's all tiny table.
But yeah, we.
Here's the income, here's the expenses, here's capital projects, depreciation. This is so easy. It's so easy to read. Yes. Cause like one council member, he'll love Excel, the other he'll like, whatever.
Right. And I had yesterday about it. When I don't give more detail, they want it, and when I do give it, they're like, it's just too much.
Yeah, I think we're gonna do that, and that's kind of the spot where like, yeah, this guy was, this is a.
It was not last year, but the year before, so everything kind of last year.
So, yeah. Well, it's our meeting, huh?
They did all that. So.
Hello. How are you?
Sylvia, how are you?
Doing good, how are you? Thank you, guys.
How are you?
Good to see you.
You too.
Oh, look at you.
How are you?
How are you? Hello, how are you? Good.
It's all me.
Speedy Gonzalez.
Good morning.
Hey.
I think she's out today.
Okay.
Not positive.
They were new before. Last year we tried it, we went 25. They were new before December. 20th, they needed 30. And that worked well. But we still had stragglers. Okay. Because our goal is.
I guess. I'm gonna hand it back to you. But and it's cold too.
Okay, you're ready. I'll go jump on mine real fast.
Do you wanna
It's all you.
remove the part so I can see?
Oh.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so I can see.
I'm like, huh?
Thank you. Good morning. It's 11:07, and today's date is
May 20th. May 20th. Oh, sorry. May 20th.
May 20th, 2025. We'd like to call the meeting to order, and we'll have roll call. Commissioner,
Okay, Commissioner Harvey, present. Well,
Do
half
we-
present.
do we have Commissioner Mon and?
She is online.
Fine, thank you.
Perfect.
And Commissioner Mon is online, and Commissioner Stubbs, myself are here, so we have 100% here. We would like to invite somebody to give us an invocation. Do we have any volunteers for an invocation?
I can do it, Commissioner.
Okay, thank you.
Because I know it's hard and you have to be really brave to give the invocation. Okay. Our dear Heavenly Father, we're so grateful to Thee for the beautiful rain, the gentle rain that Thou hast blessed us with. Thank You for softening our minds, our hearts, our souls with the gentle rain that You have brought for us. And may we continue to receive those kinds of weather throughout the summer. Heavenly Father, we're grateful for our military, for their service. We're grateful for our leaders in our communities, in our state government, in our federal government. We're grateful for their leadership and the decisions that they make in our best interests. Heavenly Father, we pray for strength and guidance as commissioners here in our county. Pray for Madam Chairwoman Stubbs, and pray for Vice Chairman Mon as she travels out there in important meetings that represent our county. Keep her safe, and we pray for each one of us, Heavenly Father, as we work to accomplish the desires and goals that our citizens in our county wish to see, which is a strong, efficient, responsive government. Please bless us to open our hearts and minds so that we're able to work with each other, with us as leaders, but also with our staff and with our administrator. Please bless our administrator that he has the strength and wisdom to help support our staff. Please be with our community members, Heavenly Father. They're hardworking community members. They work every day and be with their families. Some of them probably need help and support. May we be able to see them and hear them and understand their needs so that we're able to find solutions. Help us to help our community to build the support we need in our county, the resources from the federal, the state, and help us to make good decisions, policy decisions as leaders, policy decisions that work for community members. We pray for a good day and a good week, and we look forward to a new month, Heavenly Father. Thank you for the love and the guidance that Thou give us. I say these things humbly in the holy and the sacred name of our Savior, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen. We'll stand up to have the Pledge of Allegiance, and we'll ask Lyman to lead us on the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Do we have conflict of interest in the agenda?
I did not see any conflict of interest items for me, Madam Chairwoman.
Thank you. Commissioner Mon, did you have any conflict of interest?
No, I do not have any. Thank you.
Thank you, and I don't have either. Before we go to the public comment, I want to make a comment. You know, every time I put my mascara on, I keep thinking, should I put it on or am I crying today? So this morning I thought, well, to this commission meeting, I should be safe, and listening to Commissioner Harvey's beautiful prayer. As I go around among the Native American and they say their prayers, they bless everything. And I just love that, how they, and I appreciate the association I have to have learned from the Native American friends, how they bless everything, not only the people, they bless the nature, they bless everything, and it's just such a beautiful prayer, especially now recognizing that how we are so dependent for heaven rains to come to us here in this part of the world where we are dependent on that. So I appreciate your blessing and all of us, because we are need a blessing to be sustained as we trying to do our jobs and serve the people. Thank you. So I'll turn the time to Mac for public comments.
Okay. So with our public comments, I'm not seeing anybody signed up today, but just as a reminder on our public comments, if you do make a public comment, we'll take the audience first and then we'll pivot to those that are online that are wishing to make a public comment. All you have to do is unmute yourself and then or raise your hand if you know where that function and feature is on Zoom. You could raise your hand and then we would call on you. Just as a reminder, our public comments are 3 minutes apiece on there. Hoping that you'll stay within that time frame. And as also an important note on here is public comments are an opportunity for the public to make comments to the commission. It may not be a deliberation, or do not anticipate that they would respond to any questions or answers. It's not the place. It's really the place to hear from the public. We also ask, if you do make a public comment, that you be mindful and respectful in your comments. It's not a time for to get onto a dialogue against things that we're doing or against our employees here within the county. So we just ask that you please be respectful during that time, that we turn that attention over to you for your 3 minute comments. And so with that being said, no signups in the audience. Is there anybody here wishing to make a public comment in the audience? Not seeing any hands raised. Is there anyone online wishing to make a public comment? Go ahead, if so, and unmute yourself. Not seeing anybody unmute themselves. Commissioners, that is your public comment period for today.
Okay. So this we have
Consent agenda.
yeah.
So on here, Item number 1 on the consent agenda is approval of $10,999.93 in small purchases. You have $4,996.92 for design and update sponsorship for the Economic Development Department. You have $2,103.01 for aftermarket ranch hand front bumper for the road department. You have $1,800 for event production and $2,100 for video production for our visitor services department. Item number 2, you have the approval of the check registers for April 26th to May 16th, 2025. Item number 3, approval of the May 6th, 2025 Commission work session meeting minutes. And then item number 4, approval of the May 6th, 2025 Commission meeting minutes. Item number 5 is approval of the Utah Office of Tourism Familiarization Tour Contract between the Utah Office of Tourism and San Juan County. This is a repetitive contract that we see every year with the state. Item number 6 is approval of the appointment of Wendy Hawes to the San Juan Counseling Board for a 4-year term. You have approval of the 2026 State Task Force Grant between the Utah Commission on Criminal and Juvenile Justice and the San Juan County Sheriff's Office Major Crime and Drug Task Force. That is a repetitive grant. Item number 8 is the approval to ratify the 2025 municipal designated polling locations for this election, for the municipal elections here coming up. Item number 9 is approval of the independent contract agreement between LCD for the 2025 municipal elections and the approval of the Navajo language consulting contract for Peggy Scott, which is our certified translator for Navajo language interpretation. Those, Commissioner, are your 10 items for your consent agenda consideration today.
Okay. So, do we have a motion to approve?
Madam Chair, I'll make the motion to approve all the consent agenda items 1 through 10 as read.
Commissioner Mon, do we have a second?
Second.
Okay. Also, okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
It passes, and now we go into recognition, presentation, informational items.
Okay, this first update is presentation and update for the Cooperative Wildlife System. We got Ryan MacArthur, our state county / fire warden.
Turn the mic up here. Yeah, good morning.
Good morning.
As you guys are aware, my name's Ryan MacArthur. I'm the fire warden here for San Juan County. I deal with all unincorporated wildland, incorporated lands, dealing with the fires. As you've seen in the memo I sent you, the Cooperative Wildfire System Spring Newsletter, the 2025 Spring Newsletter, we're going to start distributing them out, kind of giving some updates on how CWS is working, what new things are changing, how that's going to bring, the change or the new system into the counties, and what's needing to be brought up or talked to that to sign up and stay current with the state contracts on that. With that also being said, on the next sheet, one more, Mac. Oh, keep going. That's all with the newsletter. To the next. So this one is the Southeast area fire restrictions criteria that our FMO groups get together once a week. They go through and do testing on fuel moistures throughout the area, throughout the whole Southeast area. And they take into consideration, according to that, there's the 5 spots they're looking into. So you've got fuels, drought, weather potential, fires, and then the preparedness level for national, or with MIFC, with Moab Interagency Fire Center. So we take that all into account, and then with all of them together, they determine whether or not we go into fire restrictions. Within that fire restrictions, we like to take it and put everybody into restrictions all at the same time. It makes it easier to manage and handle than trying to have each individual area go in separately. You know, BLM, Forest Service, national parks, the county, that kind of stuff that we put into there. So we'll be getting them out weekly. I can send them, forward them on so that everybody's aware of that, seeing them coming out, and can see kind of where we're trending and going with. I didn't send it in, but we have a whole sheet on the fire restriction criteria. So in here it goes through and it describes all the stuff that these guys are looking at, and how they're getting the information, where they're getting that information to be able to answer the questions on this sheet. So with that, is there any questions on CWS or restrictions?
So basically is trying to get the area so that the owners of property are responsible for making sure that they keep that area clean for fire hazards and
Yeah, so that's kind of the CWS program is getting into that. With that program is that's where we go in and try to help or have homeowners go in and mitigate that fire potential around their homes, you know, and stuff like that. So these are projects and stuff that's coming through the county, through the CWS program in the PC compartment that they're out helping these people, individuals. We have state WUI programs that can come out and help, you know, do some of them also, just to help mitigate.
Did you have youth volunteers that come and work with you and helping with that or not? I know that, like the tribe, sometimes they have youth that they can work in different programs. And have you ever had them come and volunteer? Or did you use volunteers?
We've used volunteers and we've had volunteers that came from the public. As far as youth, I don't necessarily know if we've used youth before, but like Moab, what's the
Trails Committee?
No, what's the one that we just did up there with the cleanup from in downtown? That organization.
We had the
Team Rubicon.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we've used that kind of stuff to help in it. They've come in and helped a lot up in the Moab area. So we do have some of that stuff that we've utilized to help.
Yeah, we have an upper mobility grant that we did receive in order to incentivize some of the Native American youth to be able to participate, because we don't have that many people applying for jobs from down the reservation on the federal lands type of jobs. And so we keep thinking maybe if some of those youth would come and participate in projects where they can get an idea. They have good jobs and good opportunities, and we even have been working with the college with that possibility of having like a certificate, forestry type of thing, so they can kind of get used to. So I just asking for that, just to be able to know if it's what are the possibilities were.
I don't know, can John utilize some of that within the WUI?
Yeah, we can look into it. Maybe I'll try to follow up with you about that. So get some more details.
We'll follow up there and see if there's a desire in the chapters, or so we visit the chapters and see.
Each year with Fire Chief Gallegos, as he comes in, they put together kind of that project area plan of areas within the county that they want to mitigate. It's going to get a little bit more intensive as the state goes through and designates those fire risks throughout the county in the areas. But we typically hire a couple seasonals to help us with the prevention piece of this and that fire mitigation component, especially when it comes time to help reduce the costs on that we with that area participation program
Especially with insurance, you know.
Oh yeah, costs.
So, but anyways, if there's not any other questions on that, just as far as I go with where I'm at. We've struggled this year with getting an assistant warden to come in and help me on the state side with down in this area. We just don't have a big pool for seasonal help. I did tentatively offer a kid a job last week. Just waiting to get a final say on that, and then hopefully within 2 weeks we should have that assistant set up so that we'll have a fully staffed engine from the state side to be able to handle whatever's comes this summer. So it's kind of where we're sitting with that. Is there any other questions?
Thank you so much for coming.
Yep, thank you.
Do want to express our thankfulness and just gratefulness in general to Ryan and all the efforts that he does here within our county. He lives here local, and so it just has that investment here within the county, that just really that coordination that he has with us on fires. It's something we know that in times of needs he'll be there with his crew, and so super appreciative for his efforts there. All right, on to the next item. We have, let me just get my agenda caught up. Presentation for Building Safety Month. We got Corey Coleman, our newest employee, with our building official. Come on up, Corey. Welcome to the first commission meeting.
Yeah, welcome.
Thank you, Mac. Do you have the PDF?
Let's see. This one right here.
Yep, perfect. Madam Chair, thank you for your time today, and commissioners. I'm really glad to meet Ryan.
Just go ahead and put your microphone over there. Thank you.
I hear his name on the advertisements every day, but one thing that I'm bringing to you today is the need to get youth into the industry, basically, whether it's fire, whether it's building. So each year in May, the Code Council and other organizations come together in May to educate our communities about public codes and the role they play in public safety. This year's theme is Game On. We're calling all the community to get in the game, take part in learning about practicing building safety. This is a little bit about me. I have 25 ICC certifications through International Code Council. I've achieved the rank of the Master Code Professional. The Chief Executive Officer, the Master Code Professional certification is the pinnacle of all ICC certifications, representing a level of effort, knowledge, and dedication that elevates not only the individual achieving it, but the code official's profession as a whole. I didn't do this by myself. I did this with my team. I did this with, you can see the group of people there, that's 1% throughout the nation, but it's a very honored certification to have, and it's very valuable. Building Safety Week. What they do is they put it into 5 weeks on Building Safety Week. So consider how building safety impacts our daily lives, including places we live, work, learn, and play. We're a little bit late to the game this year, unfortunately. We're coming in on week 3, and one thing that we want to focus on week 3 is we missed field day by, I think, 1 day at the elementary schools this year, but we want to bring it into the elementary schools next year. As we're getting ready to start up furnaces, as we're going on propane, as we're going on natural gas, different things along those lines, and start bringing awareness of the importance of smoke alarms and CO detectors, and that's one thing that we'll talk about here in a minute. If you'll go to the next one. This is, we all love code. The Code of Hammurabi is a well-preserved Babylonian code of law of ancient Mesopotamia, dating back to about 1754. If we could just deal with this code, the problem's solved. If a builder builds a house for someone and it does not construct it properly, and the house which he builds fails and it kills its owner, then that builder shall be put to death. If it kills the son of the owner, the son of that owner shall be put to death. If it kills the slave of the owner, then he shall pay a slave for slave to the owner of the house. If a builder builds a house for someone, even though he has not yet completed it, if then the walls seem toppling, the builder must take the walls solid from his own means. So codes have been around for a long time. We're in a little bit more of a legislative process now, the code development process. The neat thing about the code development process is proposals to change his code made by anyone. I mean, anybody on the street can make it, anybody in the industry can make it, commissioners can make it, I could make it, anybody in this room can make it. It's heard by a consensus committee, appeals by ICC voting membership, and it's done in 3-year code cycles. Here in Utah, we're on a 6-year code cycle currently right now. Wide industry involvement. You can just see the list right there of people who are in there. I know a lot of these people. I've been to a lot of these meetings, and they're tiring. Sometimes they go till midnight to get codes through. This is the importance of codes. You could see we have fire representatives here, but the last thing we want is shopping carts blocking an entrance to a grocery store. Down one picture from the thing, it's electrical wires and an outlet that's going to be filled with insulation. That's just waiting for a fire to happen. We all know what receptacles are, and we all plug them in when we plug into the wall. But if you look at that very top picture, Mac, I'm going to have you go just right about where your mouse is right there.
Mm-hmm.
There's an outlet there. Could you imagine reaching into a live panel to grab the outlet to plug in your cell phone? Not a good idea. Live panels, putting cardboard in live panels is not a good idea. Putting paper with things that'll spark. And then the last one, careful, kill switch bypassed. That's the worst thing we could do. Is the safety features are there. The one that's probably the best explanation of it is when you go start your car, if you don't push your brake, you can't start the car. So imagine taking that brake kill switch off, your car, a little kid could go out, spin it. It's the same type of principle on a furnaces. When you take off covers, it shuts down all the fans, all that type of stuff. So week 3, build our defense. What we want to focus on week 3, which is where the tail end of building our defense, is smoke alarms and CO. We want to bring attention to that in the community, make sure people are getting the batteries in them, making sure they're up and running, making sure that they're a life-saving device. Week 4, the starting lineup, we want to go to the community. We want to go to the schools. We want to go to the professionals. We want to go to the lumber yards, the retail places, and start figuring out who's there to help us. Because we can't do it all I can't do it all by myself. We need to do it together on this. It's going to be a team effort as we go through that. And then building codes are not going to stop at the end of this month. Fire codes are not going to stop at the end of this month. We're going to go into overtime. So week 5, overtime, building safety does not stop after the 4th quarter or the 9th inning. Week 5 goes into overtime and takes a look at some hot topics in the industry, cutting edge technology, community trends, and more. Okay, smoke alarms. It's interesting to see the importance of smoke alarms when we look at it from a standpoint of our human senses. As we have smell, often, I need my glasses. Smell, often fails to detect smoke while sleeping. Sight, can't see smoke in dark or dense environments. Touch, only detects danger when it is too late. Taste, not useful for detecting fire smoke. The key, hearing. Hearing may not wake us without a loud continuous noise. So the smoke detector, when it goes off at night, it'll wake up all of our senses. We can see where the smoke is, we get out of there. We could smell the smoke, we get out of there, whatever the case may be. Your senses are not alone. Your senses alone are not enough. Smoke alarm saves lives. So it's really important that the community knows. I can't tell you how many houses I've been in nationwide, here in the community and nationwide, where you go in and it's like, there's no smoke alarm there. I have a little bit of anxiety, and I'm like, they're like, well, it's chirping. The reason it's chirping is because there's no battery. Let's get a battery in there, let's get it back up. So I think that's really key. The next one, Matt?
I'm trying to get there.
No, you're good.
It's just slow.
The importance of hardwired CO detectors with battery backup. A lot of times they come in combo with smoke detectors now. Carbon monoxide detectors are essential life-saving devices that provide early warning of a deadly invisible gas, helping prevent tragedies in homes and public buildings. Real-life incidents highlighting the need of CO detectors. Aspen, Colorado, 2008. A family of 4 tragically died from carbon monoxide poisoning in their vacation home due to faulty heating systems. The residents lacked CO detectors, which could have alerted them to the danger. Number 2, a little bit closer to home, Montezuma Creek Elementary School, Utah. A carbon monoxide leak from a malfunctioning water heater led to the hospitalization of 25 students and staff members. The school did not have CO detectors installed at the time of the incident. So those are just emphasizing the importance of if we want to be safe, we need to look around our surroundings, do our defense, do our things. Building codes are the first line of defense in protecting our communities, providing the essential safeguards for life safety, fire prevention, emergency response, and structural integrity. They govern critical features such as stair treads, handrails, lighting, and egress, ensuring that buildings are safe, accessible, and resilient for everyone. Again, it's one of those things that it's with everybody. I mean, whether you're the insurance company, is keeping those insurance rates down, having good fire codes on the books, having good building codes on the books, having just good things so we don't have damages, licenses, inspections, codes, zoning. It all comes into a team effort. And I'm really excited to be here. I've been in a lot of different jurisdictions, and it's gonna be fun to be here. This is a proclamation that we are presenting to the chair to sign, or have somebody sign on the commission so we can submit it to International Code Council, saying, hey, we are part of this. We're in for this long haul. We're in the game. We want to take building codes seriously, and we want to make a difference. Do you have any questions?
No, I was just trying to read that form, but I can read it before I sign it. Anyway, any question, Commissioner Harvey?
Just say thank you for the information. Sometimes we forget, even us as homeowners, about the importance of smoke alarms, and then the CO2 detectors. I think a lot of us down from Montezuma Aneth area, those are new things for us that we're not really familiar with, especially the CO2 stuff. But I know it saves lives, but they're expensive too, and there are homes that don't have running electricity yet, and so maybe knowing a little more about what kind of monitors are available. Maybe you can do battery, just options, and those things would be good to know. Just public education. For me, I think maybe just, well, this helps. Now I'm going to be thinking about, I better check my batteries and make sure nothing's chirping at home. And that's a good place to start, you know.
And I don't have stock of the battery covers.
But grateful. This is valuable information, and the more we can share among ourselves. For us, though, it's just, if there's all different options and costs, that would help. Where to go to get these, because I don't know if Walmart even sell these, or if you have to go to Ace Hardware and say, hey, I'm here because I want a CO2.
Absolutely.
Those kinds of simple things.
No, I appreciate those comments, Commissioner Harvey. So a couple items. As one, that's where naming our lineup, naming our team. Who's on our team? Is it Ace Hardware? I mean, we want to keep the money here locally at the end of the day. So we go over and we work out with Ace Hardware, maybe to buy them in bulk. I know when I was in Carson City, Nevada, we applied for a grant and we received like 500 of them that we were able to give out, one per house, and document it. So those are the type of things that I'll be looking at, not to put Ryan on the spot. I think it's kind of outside of his realm, but he might have some sources for me through the state fire marshals or different things. But we'll definitely reach it to every avenue that we possibly can to find those resources, because they are expensive, but they're nowhere near the expense of losing a life.
Right.
And if we need to come up with programs, if we need to come up with donations, if we need to do stuff, it's going to be a team to make sure that our neighbors are safe. So we'll do everything we possibly can to do that.
Very good.
Commissioner Mann, do you have a comment or question?
She didn't have her hand raised or anything.
Yeah.
Sometimes the unmute is the dumbest button. I'm just telling you. Sorry, I'm waving, but no, I don't. I agree completely that awareness is the key for everything that we do. As long as if there's a problem and we make people aware, then I think it just better supports everything that we're doing.
I think education is important. I had to tell you a story about chirping fire alarm. My sweet mother-in-law, she lived in this property in the middle in Hero Valley, a bit in the middle, and she had a husband that spent lots of time in the office studying and doing things, and they're both retired, both older. And one day he changed the battery, and she was so upset. She said, "Now I cannot hear my birds." And so, in an innocent way, that is danger. I think we need to check with the elderly, make sure that when we go to their homes, and sometimes it's nice to just, do it when we change the clock. Some people do that, have a time where we go and check on our elders, because sometimes even people that have it, you get so used to that you don't notice anymore, and realizing that means that it's not working. That means that the batteries have run out. So even little things like that can help us to prevent and a big disaster kind of thing. So especially people that live out in areas where it takes a while for a fire truck to come and help them. So we appreciate this, and we want to welcome you as a San Juan County worker, and looking forward to work with you. Thank you so much.
It's going to be exciting. Thank you.
Thanks, Corey.
So,
All right.
now business actions.
So we're now on business action items. The first one here is consideration and approval for the San Juan Counseling Area Plan updates in accordance with Utah Code Title 17, Chapter 43. We do have Tammy Squires on the line, in her car.
She's
up at a conference, and so Tammy, take it away.
Yeah, can you guys hear me?
Yep.
yeah.
All right.
Are you warm?
Yeah, I actually have my car going, so I'm
Okay.
not too hot.
Mhm.
But I've got for you our area plan. It is a 3-year area plan. It was initially improved for fiscal year 2024. This is the last year. We make changes every year. We just make a few small changes in the narrative, and those are all outlined in blue. And every year the budget changes. So that's what the first few pages are, is the budget, and that has changed. So I don't know if you guys have any questions. There's no real big changes from last year. So I need to have you guys approve that for fiscal year 26.
Commissioner Harvey, do you have any questions?
Just curious, should there be a need to make amendments at any point in time? Because things change every often and new experiences, come and go. But is this always tailored for us when we need it to be? Or is this like once it's approved, we raise our right hand and swear an oath to never change the language until when the time comes to bring it back for reapproval? How does that look? I'm wondering.
Yeah, no. So it's not like a contract, and it's not like exactly this is how we're going to do everything. This is just our basic plan of how we think we're going to do things, because we can't tell the future. We base what we do kind of off of what we've done in the past, but if the needs change, we can change what we're doing to tailor to the needs of the community. This doesn't lock us into anything. This is just it's a state requirement. We have to have a plan of what we think we're going to do, and so that's what this does.
Okay, appreciate that. Another question. Don't mean to drill too much into the plan itself, but in regards to working and collaborating with other behavioral health entities in our county when, like for instance, should UNHS Behavioral Health or maybe Four Corners Behavioral Health complete their own assessments on a client and they've established a diagnosis, but the client moves out of area to our county area, are we able to work with those behavioral health services to honor their diagnosis and continue that treatment plan, and kind of have that goal of collaboration in continuing that continuity of service that originated from maybe the behavioral health services that the client's bringing a treatment plan from. I'm going into the weeds, I know, but I'm sorry, Tammy.
I mean, it would be on a case-by-case basis, but we absolutely work with other entities, and I mean, the best care and continuity of care is best for clients. So yeah, we will always work with other entities. It's a Medicaid rule where we would have to do our own evaluation and create our own treatment plans for the stuff that we're doing, but we would always take what outside providers have into consideration with what we're doing. But yeah, we will always work with outside entities, especially if continuity of care is a thing.
Very good. I think that's going to be my questions for today, Commissioner.
Thank you. Commissioner Mon, do you have a question or comment?
Nope. And I found my mute button. Thank you.
Thank you. I have a a question. As I wish I can find it, but there's a part about where they talk about suicide and say not applicable, not being so it's left blank. So I was just wondering, is there just because lately in our community we had 2 teen suicide, and it seems like even younger children are contemplating things more than used to be. And according to statistics, with times, as the population grows and the children that are probably involved in lots of social media, that we're going to see more and more this and more need of counseling regarding the subject. And it's such a subject close to my heart. And sometimes I think just even training teachers or training the people that work with youth, they can sometimes prevent situations. For instance, when our son died of suicide, we had lots of people contacting us. There was a young girl that she would always go to school late because she was contemplated, and then she took herself, went to school, and she was late, and she would get in trouble. And so sometimes, if we can, I know that one of my daughter worked for Navajo Health System. In her position, they do lots of training for suicide. And basically, it's for workers and things like that. But I just wonder if there's such a program where it can be where anybody that works with children, it can be give you some hints or some tools or something that they can give, the hope for tomorrow. Because sometimes it's just keep waiting for the morning time, keep waiting. It's just some skills that they can have. And I don't know if it's something like that can be part of this program, or if you guys have some program where we can educate anybody that works with 4-H or anything, that they can start noticing children that they have certain tendencies, and sometimes the school, especially middle school, for some reason seem to be hard on that age children. And so where we can prevent, where we can give, and sometimes it's giving them tools for them to do. I know like things like the 4-H program is a good thing. They have an animal they have to get up and feed. I remember I used to do a type of 4-H program at the college, and I taught one girl how to do a quilt. And her mother told me later in the years, through her whole life, quilts is what kept her going, because she used to have lots of issues. So it's not a criticism, it's just a hope that maybe as we look, and you're so good at doing lots of good things, lots of good grants, but I wonder if it's something that we could keep in mind and look with opportunities where we can have those kind of trainings that there's offered to workers, so they can, so the families, anybody that they have a tendency. I finally, there's one tendency in our family. They come from my side of the family that we don't do good with the B vitamins, the B12. And when we are lacking the B12, we start kind of getting a little bit discouraged kind of thing. And so I think is if we are aware of certain tendencies that come from maybe sometimes diet or sometimes just circumstances, that we can give lots of tools for parents to, and teachers and community helpers to help with those things. And so that, thank you. That's just my comment or question. I don't know what it is, but we just lost a young man 2 nights ago, and so it's kind of a fresh in the community. And anyway, but thank you.
Yeah. Thank you for that, Commissioner Stubbs. So just a couple things. Sorry, my car's beeping at me.
Smoke alarm.
Smoke alarm.
Smoke alarm. You're right. The batteries are need to be changed. But yeah, so we are part of the Zero Suicide Coalition, and we talk about those things, and we talk about ways to bring it to the youth. We also, part of the SJC PAC, the coalition and the youth coalitions are kind of focusing on substance use prevention and also suicide prevention. So there are those conversations that's happening. And I think Sam Spillman is there. And I was going to give her just a few minutes to kind of talk about 988, which is a huge resource that not a whole lot of people even, not enough people talk about it, not enough people use it. So actually, if Sam's there, I'll just let her come up and give a real quick spiel on 988.
Okay, she's coming. Thank you.
I also have a physical copy of this. Do you guys need that?
Okay, thank you.
All right. So I'm Sam Spillman. Just wanted to take a minute and talk about 988. So 988 is the National Mental Health Crisis Line. It's available 24/7 by call, text, or chat. It's free and confidential. It connects individuals experiencing emotional distress, suicidal thoughts, or mental health and substance use crises with trained crisis counselors who can provide immediate support. 988 is designed for a therapeutic response, making it safer and more supportive for people in crisis. When needed, calls can be routed locally, helping connect residents to community-based resources and services, including San Juan Counseling's mobile crisis team. I'm the supervisor of that mobile crisis outreach team, and we work very closely with 988 to respond to people in the community. We'll go out to people's homes, we'll meet them in our office. We, essentially can meet them anywhere out in the community. So I just wanted to share that resource and encourage everyone to spread the word. 988 can save lives, offer support in critical moments, and help people find their way to longer-term care when needed.
Thank you.
Do you have any questions?
All right, do you guys have any questions?
No more questions.
No other questions. I'll make the motion to approve the plan. It's pretty comprehensive. I'm sure it took a lot of work and effort burning the midnight oil. Tammy and her team are very dedicated to what they do, I know. So I'm just grateful for their plan and getting a new one prepared.
Thank you so much for all you do. And Commissioner Mann, do you have a second?
Yes, I second it.
Okay, we have a second. No more further questions. Then we have a vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
I
And aye.
Okay.
Thank you for your time and your support. If I can have one of you guys sign that,
Yes.
probably Commissioner Stubbs, and give it to Sam, and she'll get it to me so I can get it submitted to the state.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, the next one on your agenda is item number 14, consideration and approval of the off-highway vehicle recreation grant between the state of Utah Division of Outdoor Recreation in San Juan County. You have TJ and Dick here.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
It would have been morning, but Corey took too long. Just kidding. So we applied for a grant for basically our trails. It's off highway vehicles, OHVs. We were issued $64,000 in this grant, and so it'll allow us to do some trail maintenance, some work that we need to do on a lot of these trails. We don't get any funding from the state, so we apply for these grants to help us out. So this will help us for the year. So I just need approval so we can sign it and accept the money.
We'll sign it. Anybody have any questions?
No, just
Commissioner Mann, any questions? Or comments?
She's too cold to ride a UTV today.
a motion to approve the accepting the grant. Thank you,
I
Todd,
second that.
for your work.
You know, all in favor, say aye.
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 Thank you.
Okay, item 15 on here is business license interlocal agreement. We've got all the city manager and town manager online here to help us present this opportunity here for the county. Go ahead.
So this should be tally up here, but hey, what the heck? I'm next in line. The cities and the county have been working together to come up with an interlocal agreement to essentially recognize each other's business licenses to kind of take the burden off of business owners to have to get a business license in each municipality as well as the county. It's not much of a cost savings to them, but it is a little bit, but it also takes that burden off of having to remember to renew each of those business licenses. And so we met with Monticello and Bluff and Blanding as well as commissioners in a separate meeting, and we've had some pretty widespread agreement that this is a good idea that we can do. We'd like to take this and go beyond that to help train businesses on the sales tax portion of things and really put some of the efforts there to help them in the areas they want. The only exclusion to recognizing the business licenses in this agreement is you'll see in 2B is any temporary business licenses. That's up to each municipality if they want to accept that. And those are usually going to be more for your rodeo events, 4th of July events, 24th of July events in Monticello, things like that. So that was recommended it be separated out from this agreement. So any questions on this agreement?
Commissioner Harvey, any question or comment?
No, that's really awesome to have all the communities come together to do this. So motion to approve.
The Commissioner Mann
I'll
has
second it.
Okay, and all in favor say aye.
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 Aye. This is a good way for us to cooperate with the cities and the counties, and I know there can be more and more opportunities, and looking forward to keep working with that. Thank you.
Thank you, Bishop.
Thanks, Trent. Pausing for station identification.
Smoke alarm.
Okay, so item number 16, consideration and approval of the standard service agreement with JUB Engineering and San Juan County for preliminary engineering report services. This one is kind of following in line. Last commission meeting, you had approved the grant request that we made to the U.S. Department of Agriculture. We were successful in getting the award to that. And so the next step for us was literally just getting the engineering services so they can actually enact that award. If you remember back to that presentation, the grant request was for total of $35,000. $30,000 came from the USDA, and then the county would have to pitch in $5,000 as in-kind services for this. With JUB Engineering, they were the entity. We solicited through a request for qualification process, and they were the awardee of the feasibility study that was performed on the overall drinking system there in LaSalle. Mm-hmm. So continuing with their efforts, we didn't want to start all over again with another engineering firm, and especially if it comes out to different details within that plan. And so this is similar to a sole source vendor contract, but knowing that we had done the solicitation prior to JUB coming in and performing all of these services. In this also kind of includes their assistance in helping us go after grant funding. So it's a continuation contract after the feasibility study, now into the preliminary engineering. And then hopefully at some point in time we can find some funds from either the state or CIB to actually fully fund this project. But we want to get it as close as possible to being a shovel ready project, so that we know exactly the funding that we need to enact this, and then just go fast after the funds to see if we can get any federal dollars or state assistance to get this going. The more funds that we can get, I think the better off the citizens will be there in LaSalle. It'd be a pretty heavy lift for them to come out of the gate and have a loan based off of user fees, with that challenge of, well, why would I drop my well water, which is free, other than my utility bill, to migrate over to a public system that would then cost me monthly more. And so we're hoping to ease the burden on them through these grants, and this is one of them. You have the grant funding notice in here, but now it's the contract for approval so that we can continue forward for LaSalle.
Do you have any questions?
No questions. If it's okay, can I motion to approve?
Commissioner Mann, do you have any questions or comments?
No, thank you. I'm ready for the motion as well.
Okay, we have a motion, and you want a second, Commissioner Mann?
Sure, I'll second that. Thank you.
All in favor say aye.
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 Before I vote, I want to make a comment regarding shovel-ready projects. We are right now lots of opportunity as we are losing federal funds possibility, but we also have the opportunity to, if we have shovel-ready projects, that we can take advantage of that. So all in favor say aye.
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 The motion passes.
Okay, thank you for that. Item number 17, your final item on here is consideration and approval of the letter of support for the Digital Access and Opportunity Grant to enhance broadband connectivity and expand internet access across the county. We had recently applied for this Digital Access and Opportunity Grant through the state. State had received at one time a federal award for digital access throughout the nation. And so with that effort, we had, just going through the original grant. If you remember back a couple of years ago, I also received a an opportunity grant for the feasibility and study of internet broadband throughout the county. With that study, included a feasibility to get broadband throughout the county, including within the Navajo Nation. So we turned those results back into the state, and then the next step was to enter into infrastructure grant funding. And so you had a presentation from Emory Telecom, who came in and presented their request asking for a letter of support as they applied for the digital broadband grant side of this. This piece is a separate component, but of that effort, instead of a focus on the actual broadband infrastructure, this was more of a focus on the education behind the internet. As we did the first study, it was interesting as we reached out into some of our Native American communities and talking with them, there was a big reluctance to even have internet in their communities. Some of them didn't want it at all. They're like, we don't want internet. We see what happens with youth and kind of the problems that internet can bring with that. So we really felt that there was a strong need for education, and that's what we applied for this grant, is really more of an education and awareness program where we can go out, teach communities on the proper use of internet, and first how to even explain it. That was one of the things we recognized in several communities. When you talk about 4G speed and 35 gigabyte upload speed, it goes over their head. They just don't understand that technology, never having been around it. And so especially when you get into some of the elder populations that we have. So we really felt that, a focus more on the training aspect of it is what is the internet, how to utilize your computer, and, what are the safeguards to prevent, the harmful portion of the internet, but yet really kind of that digital access, getting the equality that is needed within our citizens so that they're playing on an equal field where, they have telehealth right at their fingertips. They have education right at their fingertips and within their homes. And so we still have a long ways to go to meet that last mile. It is kind of what they have termed the phrase to be, is getting internet into the home. But especially down south, as the chapters begin to get internet within their communities, it was really following up with the training to help them understand it and navigate it. And then it kind of then curtails into the economic mobility. And when you look at our youth, our younger population here, getting a better education, a higher education, being educated in things that they want to explore for their careers, whether it's archaeology and kind of that supporting getting more of Native Americans into government sector jobs, but it also goes along the lines of supporting the efforts that we're trying with getting more small businesses, Native Americans into small business, and how do we encourage them to go into business? Well, internet technology and e-businesses, that's one of their efforts. Instead of being so cyclical and dependent on tourism, you can go online worldwide and sell your pottery goods or your baskets, and kind of just opens up a little bit more world on the small business realm to our citizens throughout the county. So that was kind of where we were heading originally. We learned last week, as well as all of the other states throughout the nation, that these were some of the funds that were yanked back by the current administration. Their concern is really more on that equity, and so they pulled the funds back. We don't know yet if they'll continue to release the funds, but right now it's in that exploratory phase. And so nevertheless, we felt that we would get everything, the letters of support to follow our application. If the funds do become available again, then our package is complete at that time. And so I know that this was also presented at the Navajo Utah Commission. for their support, primarily where the work will take place, with the training opportunities there. But other than that, any questions? I know Lori has her, or Commissioner Mon has her hand up. Sorry about that.
Well, no problem. A couple things is, one, do we have a clarification on who physically would be teaching this education piece? And number two, is this something that we would be interested in correlating with the school district when it comes to that target audience?
Yes and yes. So the anticipation in the grant request, the application that we put together, we don't have the capacity as staff to do this, and so the grant request is to participate and contract with 2 nonprofit organizations who would then kind of take this over. They would establish the program itself. So the funding was to take 2 nonprofit organizations, create and develop the program, and then hire an interpreter as well to go along with the training, and then go out broad. And yes, we in our economic mobility project, we are participating with them, and this kind of goes hand in hand with that. And so we will be coordinating with not only the school district but also with USU in the programs that they offer. And so we will do a complete wraparound approach with this to try to get as much involvement in developing the program and then go forward with it.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Any other questions?
Any other question?
No questions. There's just maybe some supporting statements in regard to this effort. So, Mac, I do need to finish my report to the Navajo Commission, the written report in English, because my report at the Navajo Mountain Navajo Utah Commission was all in the Nebazad.
Yeah.
And so I know that there's a letter of support that I'll send along with my written report so that the Navajo Utah Commission is aware of our request to seek their support at their upcoming meeting in June. So, but just some thoughts in regards to internet and us as Native Americans. My biggest challenge when I translate internet and fiber and gigabyte, there's no invented terms yet. There's no Navajo terminology yet. And I think I'm trekking that trail to work with other elected leaders to have some consensus about what we're talking about when it comes to internet and the technology that exists there. Like as an example, my best word in Navajo when I describe fiber being installed underground along the highway is basically the root or the cord is being installed for the machines that you think with. That's a literal translation. and breaking down that. And then the elders hopefully are grasping that. But I think the value is that for a lot of Native American communities, especially those that do art, they're able to sell and support their families if they can learn how to utilize that as a tool. And then you've got youth that can learn coding and educate themselves and have those types of skills. I know that a lot of times, well, a lot of us are dealing with the conversion from paper-based to online applications. Everything's online now. So when you're applying for grants, benefits, you have to do things online. Even reserving your hotel room to travel, that's all online now. And so a lot of us who aren't familiar with computers, where do you go to do that? You know, and that's going to be valuable. It's just another tool to help us be more efficient in our own lives. And I didn't know this, but you can actually order your Walmart items, pay for it, and you just drive,
Pick it up.
you park, they load it for you, and you go home. It's like, whoa, this is really cool. Anyways, if I'm learning that, most of my community members probably don't see the benefits of those things. So anyhow, just some supporting statements to the effort. But now that I've been long-winded about this, I'll make the motion to approve, Commissioner.
All in favor, say aye. Oh, we have a second.
I'll second it.
Okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, we have to commission report. Commissioner Mann, do you want to go first?
Sure. I feel like I've been away for a while, but my travel back east was to help work the SRS funding that is so critical for our area, for the school districts. I spoke with Superintendent Fitzgerald before I left, and she said that we went from $123,000 a year to around $25,000. So it was critical to go and try and lobby for those funds to come in and work with congressional leaders on that. And then, as you're aware, I'm representing the county at the NACO Western Regional Conference, and so we will be heading into meetings regarding public lands and also water resources, which are vital for our area, and that is always a battle for our county and the things that we're doing there. And then my last note is that I got great news for our FSA office, USDA office, and those are located in Monticello. So the approval for those offices to stay within our county has been approved, and they're going to renew that lease. And I found that out on Friday. I got a call from Commissioner Kelly Parson with the USDA, and that is effective immediately. And I also spoke with the individual who has the lease on that building, and he also has received confirmation. And I've actually seen a physical paper, which I kind of demanded that we see that to make sure that we have secured that. So we're good on that. So that's my update.
Thank you so much. Those lots of good news. Thank you, Commissioner Harvey.
Okay. I'll try to be brief. There's a lot of things there that I've run into this month. I'll talk first about the Anna chapter meeting. They had their meeting this past Sunday. Second, I'll talk about the Navajo-Utah Commission meeting that we all traveled to out in Navajo Mountain this past, was it Tuesday? Yes, of last week. And then finally, some local things that we'll be holding this coming week. So on Sunday, this past Sunday, 2 days ago, Anna chapter had their local chapter meeting. And there I shared some developments regarding the drinking water that is available, has always been historically available to us as Navajo and the users in Bluff from literally everywhere. St. Christopher's Mission has an open water well, drinking water. And not familiar with the historical history of that water well, but I know that St. Christopher's Mission, Father Liebler, Bernard Liebler, I think is his name, opened up to be a hospital there and a mission to Native Americans in the past. But I'm a user of that water source. It's my drinking water source too, and not just me, but a lot of us as community members. It's an alternative to a $6 plastic encased water bottle, because for me, I travel from Montezuma Creek to Cortez, and I pay another $80 round trip just for a $6 case of water. It's cheaper for me just to take my 30-gallon tank, get drinking water from the mission, and go home, and I'm good for the month. However, I know that maybe because of Navajo Nation's concern about safe drinking water, the mission has been asked to complete a survey, and the Navajo Nation has a rule that if there's open water users above 20, I believe, then it's considered a public water facility or water resource. And so that is causing some burden to the mission, because I believe it's their attorney who's involved with the discussions there around the local water source, that should the mission have to become an entity that must treat their water to become an official public watering system, it's going to be an expense far beyond their capabilities to maintain it, so that it is a safe drinking public water resource. And so I think there is a threat that is there. That threat is that free water, which is going to cost money to treat, so that it remains by sanitary public standards safe, may not be available anymore due to rules and regulations. And so a lot of the community members aren't aware of that. But there is a need to address that, because we're all a lot of us down south are users. And so we don't want to see St. Christopher's mission and the public water access for us taken away. And that's the challenge I bring to us today, commissioners, is I need that support. And hopefully we were able to voice that. We want to keep St. Christopher's mission, the water there for the community, available. So there's some work that needs to be done to make that happen. So that's the biggest issue that I'm got in my bag of things to do. The other issue is the energy rebates that has been secured through local efforts. There's a Four Corners Coalition that had applied for some USDA funds, federal dollars, set aside for Native Americans to use for energy rebates, specifically for Native American and Native American families, to help offset the cost of electricity, and maybe offset or provide rebates for conversion of homes from electric to solar, and being more self-sufficient with solar panels and stuff. Four Corners Coalition secured that fund, and it was transferred to the state of Utah through, I believe, the Utah Department of Energy. And there it now sits waiting to be dispersed and funded for Native American families in San Juan County. The concern is that because of the budget cuts that are happening, and because the federal government wants to return funds, COVID being one of them, I know that a lot of the COVID funds and the programs with COVID had ceased, were recuperated, and were being returned back to the federal government. The fear is that the allocation from the rebates program for Native American families will be impacted by that. And so there's some hope that perhaps our governor, lieutenant governor, would be able to protect that allocation secured for the energy rebates program for Native Americans in our county, so that it's not returned, but that it follows through and is funded, and that projects that are earmarked will continue to operate in our county, so that Native American families can get solar energy and rebates. They can participate based on income and qualifying income wise, so that can help offset costs. I did notify Representative Monson, who is working to get a meeting with the Lieutenant Governor so that we can have this conversation with the Lieutenant Governor to get her support to protect those funds. And so that's another mention that I shared at the chapter meeting with the community. Finally, Anna chapter was contending with its own concerns, which was Elk Petroleum had apparently announced it's selling its company to its opening its company to be sold, which means that it's not going to be Elk Petroleum anymore if there's a successful outside entity who purchases and takes over the oil fields in Aneth, Montezuma Creek. From what I understand, perhaps that entity might be the Navajo Nation Oil and Gas. I'm not very sure about those arrangements, and I'm not really close to following that. But the community members are just concerned about protecting the rights of the current employees under Elk Petroleum. What happens to those employees, and will they continue their employment, protecting their rights as employees, and also the impacts that Elk Petroleum had been managing in regards to air quality, pollution, installation of oil field equipment that still needs to be managed, and protecting the residents near the wells, who's going to continue to protect those families that live near the oil wells, and such. And I think the leaders have felt they were not included in those discussions, and so they're asserting themselves to be, we're the local leaders in this community who want to have a voice. And they talked about the 33 points. Maybe it was a demand that was asserted in the past that demanded when any oil company comes into the area, need to protect the air, the land, and the community members that are in the lease, so that they also are able to enjoy a good quality of life, and also that any employment opportunities are available to the local people. And really, it's just really asserting that to whomever becomes the new owner, and keeping the local community in the loop was probably the biggest discussion there. And so that's something I've learned. I wasn't really aware of that, but that's happening. Finally, in regards to the Navajo-Utah Commission meeting in Navajo Mountain, some things that I was able to present in Denebazad in the language to the commission members there. If you're not familiar with the Navajo-Utah Commission, we have two Navajo Nation Council delegates that sit on that. Herman Daniels, who's a council delegate out of Old Jado chapter, and council delegate Curtis Yanito, who's also a Navajo Nation Council delegate in our county. Then there's the 7 elected leaders in Utah. There's Tisnasmas, Anath, Mexican Water, Oljeto, Denahoto, Navajo Mountain. The elected leaders of those chapters are on that board, and they are the ones that work with the Navajo Nation government to advocate for funding programs and such. My role at the Navajo Youth Commission was just to make them aware, the members aware, that Emory Telecom had secured federal funds to provide internet services for Westwater community and for Halchita community. And their Emory Telecom had been working through the Navajo Nation Land Office to secure a right-of-way which would allow Emory Telecom to continue the fiber project into Westwater community residents and into Halchita community residents. However, the effort stalled at the Navajo Nation Land Office level because the Navajo Nation Land Committee has to approve through an SAS process. It's kind of a layered process where they evaluate maps, project funding, archaeological clearance documents, environmental impact documents. And as a committee, they approve projects on the Navajo Nation. Once they approve, then it gets sent to the Navajo Nation for final signature, and then it's an official right-of-way. That right-of-way is kind of a license for a project to come onto the reservation to complete any specific project. In this case, Emory Telecom had been waiting for a right-of-way to construct internet fiber lines to the residents of Westwater and Halchita. And so our plea to Navajo Utah Commission, to the council delegates, was we need your help because Emory Telecom is going to lose these federal funds. They're there, but these funding that has been secured has a deadline. And if we don't move immediately with getting the right-of-way finalized through the nation, the opportunity to provide fiber to Westwater residents and to Halchita residents is no longer going to be available. That was pretty much our message to the Navajo Utah Commission. The next message we brought with us was just requesting support to find a way to get the Navajo Nation Department of Justice to lift a moratorium, a cease and desist letter, basically, that Navajo Nation had prepared in response to past incidences where the county, not the county specifically, but another entity had been coming in and removing youth off the reservation. And the Navajo Nation exercised its sovereignty by saying, stop what you're doing. San Juan needs to stop coming onto the reservation. Navajo Nation has ultimate jurisdiction. Just stop, kind of a letter. And that is still in place. And it impacts us as San Juan County to be able to explore a mutual assist or maybe an MOU with the Navajo Nation police so that we can work with our San Juan County deputies and Navajo Nation PD to collaborate and figuring out a solution to effective police response in Anath, Montezuma Creek. And so our plea was we need some support so that Navajo Nation law and order can work and do its due diligence in removing that cease and desist letter, allowing the doors to open so that we can explore how we can work together, San Juan County, Navajo Nation, to meet the needs of the community, the safety needs. And so that was our next message was we'd like to ask for support. And finally, there's more, but I'm due to time. The last thing I mentioned was we're interested in finding a solution to court orders that come in place for domestic violence. I know Navajo Nation has domestic violence court orders they issue through third tribal courts, but those court orders, when the victim is off the reservation and there's another incident of domestic violence, either the, what do they call those, protection orders or domestic violence orders are not really recognized. Vice versa, when you have a victim, a domestic violence victim from the state who Utah court had issued, and that victim moves into the reservation and is asking for help and support, maybe protection, the Navajo Nation will hesitate because it's not their court order. It's a kind of an out of jurisdiction court order. And so the thought is we need to work on collaborating, maybe an agreement to help Navajo Nation accept state court orders, vice versa, the state recognize Navajo Nation court orders. And when it comes to domestic violence, it doesn't just involve adult victims, but it involves youth and youth who need safety, places for safety. And I think if we're able to work from both jurisdictions, Navajo Nation, state, to recognize each other's court orders, we can do more in supporting victims and families who are in domestic violence situations. Those were just some, not all, but just some highlights of some issues that were presented before Navajo Utah Commission. The win, the biggest win for the county was Herman Daniels, Delegate Daniels, did invite us to a June 11th Law and Order Committee meeting, and he requested that our plead for domestic violence court orders being recognized, both jurisdictions, and the cease and desist would be presented there at the Law and Order Committee. And so I think that's going to be our next field trip, is going to that meeting to follow through with that invitation. That's Navajo Utah Commission meeting. There's more points that I didn't mention, but due to time, I'll just leave it at that. Finally, local events. We do have a Criminal Justice Coordinating Council, and Mac, I haven't confirmed with you yet, but it is confirmed. Aneth District Court Court Administrator Brian Parrish confirmed Friday we do have the Judge Irene Black's courtroom available. They are allowing us to use Judge Black's courtroom in Aneth, Utah, to have our Criminal Justice Coordinating Council. The state will be notified, state court, DCFS, I think all the partners from the state who are interested in the domestic violence effort that I mentioned, they will be present. I think we did notify our council delegates. I'll send a follow-up email about the Criminal Justice Coordinating Council for Aneth this Friday at 10 a.m. and we'll continue to meet. We've been meeting monthly with Sheriff Lacey, with UAC, and it seems our group is growing, and that's really cool. And thank you, Mac, for your support and bringing around your internet equipment so that we can connect. But we do have an important meeting this Friday if the public's interested. we try to share data with Navajo Nation, with the county, with the Utah courts, try to collaborate, to coordinate among our criminal justice systems. And it's a big county. And as Chairwoman Stubbs says, we're almost dealing with two different
Directions, huh?
two different jurisdictions. And I think the more we're learning to navigate and work with both, I think we'll be successful. But I'll leave my reports at that. I know it's a lot, but there you are. That's my bag of work that I have in my backpack, among other things. So thank you, commissioners.
Thank you. I think all those efforts we make to work together between two different, not only different culture, a language barrier, distance, I see hopes are the things that you're working with in those areas. With me, I'm trying to work on community development, and I think that with times we'll be narrowing those barriers so where we can serve the people better. I had the opportunity, like Commissioner Harvey said, to go to Navajo Mountain. It's a beautiful place. I don't know if everybody have been there, but it's really green, really beautiful. And I always like going there, so I went and got to listen to the language. It gets to, I know a few words. I know when they say water, and I know when they're talking about money, it's peso. And so in Spanish, beso is kiss, but it's not that kind of beso they talk. And then when they talk about Washington, I know they're talking about federal funds and monies. And anyway, I tried to learn a little bit Navajo, but I decided to learn how to make fried bread. And sometimes when I have company, they don't turn out. When I do it for myself, they turn out good. So I had to figure out what's the difference. Maybe too many people in the house make them be flat. I don't know. But I have been working with wastewater, through I go to the monthly meeting, and it's always exciting to see them, the progress they're making. One of the things we're working right now is we had a couple of contact with a weatherization program, and they're gonna be coming because of lack of computers and internet. They need to do everything online. We're gonna have kind of like a party in Westwater, and we're gonna have people come in person with their computer and help them register for the weatherization program, which is going to be, I think, something really nice. They get to even have their wood stove replaced for a very more efficient kind of type of thing. If they cannot see what the need is, and sometimes they cannot replace window all the time, but there's certain situation where they can do more than other situation. But anyway, I'm looking forward to that, and I think that's going to be a good opportunity for them to winterize their homes. Also, in Blondine, I've been working with a project which it's a multiple culture type of museum, and we're trying to build a Pueblo style first building. And I've been working with the Forest. I want to make sure it's the right organization. Yeah, I think it's the Forest Service. Yeah. And we've been going to be getting some logs, special logs from them, from a special situation with, for instance, they're trying to have a power, a line, utility line going in. There's some trees that need to be removed, so we'll be getting those trees, and it's going to be located next to the visitor center. So if you guys want to go see how they make those round logs into square shape. It's very interesting. They have an amazing saw that's going on, and make sure you wear your goggles because I got sawdust in my eyes so bad. Anyway, but we had that, and also working with the same people regarding a trail. A couple of people have been investigating old trails that go all the way from maybe from Monticello through Blondie all the way to Bluff. So kind of working on those kind of projects there in the area, and plus community projects, community development in the Blondie area. We're trying to, we had a certain amount of money, like 160,000, maybe a little bit less, to give to businesses, and the request was over 1.5 million people. You probably know the numbers better. Anyway, and so one of the things I do, I'm trying to find other sources that we can match to those, and also, with our opportunity, the Olympics, I think there'll be more opportunity to do that. But Blondie is getting a new pizzeria place, a sitting down restaurant that we can have not only pizza but other dishes with a combination of a bakery, and so it's gonna be really, really nice. And Talia and I we thought we can go look through the window. We were having a meeting in the car, so let's go look through the window, but they were there, so we got to see all the plans it's going to be really, really nice to have that in our community. And so we have other plan and things for housing, different things we're looking into housing. And so we have lots of things within the community, within the Blondie community. And also this past week, I went to Navajo Mountain, and also I'm going to be going back on Friday to a graduation. They had 11 graduates, so I'm going to go, and the whole town is celebrating. They're taking time off of work. It's an amazing celebration what they do to honor those 11 students. So be traveling there early in the morning to be there at 10, and then coming back from that. And another thing that I have been working, trying to help the Navajo Mountain people, they have a problem with a septic tank that's in your center, and it was really hard to get in touch with anybody during the weekend. And I did call some people. Anyway, the situation is they're so far away for somebody to come and service the tank, plus trying to find the source of money for it. And plus, after they clean the septic tank, they need a place to dispose it, so they had to go. It's so complicated just for the project, and they'll be closed most of this week. And so when I go for graduation, I'll check to see if I've been able to find some funds for that. Quickly, so one thing for White Mesa, the people that shop at Clark Market, this month, the city Clark Market, if you shop on Monday, whatever you shop on Monday, they give a percentage of the money that was spent, and it's going to go to our fund for each program. And so I'm hoping to be able to use some of the fund so where we can have some programs for youth in White Mesa area. And so I'll be traveling to the certain meeting on Thursday to Price, And then, like I said, on Thursday to Navajo Mountain. So tomorrow, a possibility I'm traveling to Mexican Hat. So that's my report. And so we have one more motion to make. Anybody wants to make some motion?
Just real quick, I'm sorry. I was just going to add the most important thing to the SRS funding is that that has, because of the lobbying efforts that, and I don't know specifically with that, but the importance of seeing that money coming through, they included that in the reconciliation bill that Congress is now debating. So
Okay.
that is included in, which is very important. And my last thing, I'm sorry, I forgot to add, is that the Stampede Rodeo is the 12th to the 14th, and we're really trying to advertise on all ends of the county. So thank you, Talia, for trying to get posters down to the chapter houses. So if you don't see those, will you let me know? And
Yeah.
they're also being distributed in all the communities because we want to make sure that it's reached from one end to the other end of the county and really trying to ramp up that effort. So yeah, let me know if you feel there's a place where you don't see a banner or we think we need one. I'd appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah. And that's important, that bill that's trying to pass it's called the super bill. And it has lots of good help for, it's a beginning of lots of good things. And also one thing about participating as a commissioner the last 2 years, the rodeo, we have many Native American in the audience and many amazing performers. And I'm going to say quickly that the first time I was asked to be at the rodeo, I was supposed to follow the flag, right behind the flag. And I was thinking, okay, I had done lots of hard things. I had never touched a horse, but I guess I can ride a horse. I wasn't sure how I get on the horse. And they would tell me to invite the other commissioners, and I was just still, when she was talking, the person was inviting me. I was just thinking about how I'm going to do this. I had done lots of hard things. I thought, well, I can do a horse. And then she asked this person, she said, can you do it? And I said, yes, I can. And she said, I'll get a truck ready for you. So anyway,
yes, so I'm inviting you both to be there for those nights because yes, the commissioners will need to be involved if you're available and that's possible.
We have been part of that before, and I don't think I have another chance in this life, but I would love to have been a cowgirl. I think, I don't know, they make it look so much fun there. Okay, so we have a motion to adjourn.
Yeah, just real quick shout out to Commissioner Mon. Thank you for your work with
Yeah.
SRS. That's huge.
That is
you're
good.
there doing that. So
Yeah.
appreciate
No
your effort.
problem. Thank you.
And travel safe. Anyway,
I will. And I will
Motion.
second your motion. Oh, I'll make a motion to adjourn. Sorry, Commissioner Harvey.
No, it's all right. I'll second.
and
To
all
adjourn.
in favor say aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Bye-bye.
California.